Do we have any housekeeping to go over, Abby, or you want to do that at the end?
We can do it at the end, and I'll make sure I have my ducks in a row.
Okay. All right, guys. So tonight's call is going to be on growing your audience on Instagram. So I feel like this is probably one of our biggest struggles as, I don't know, partners is like, how do we find people once I go through my whole warm market? I'm sorry, my child is about to interrupt. Can you say hi and then go night night? Say hi. Okay, because mommy's talking. I love you so much. Go night night.
Mom, look, there's Morgan on.
I know there's Morgan. Anyways, Morgan is Kieran's old teacher, so that's why he's excited. I know for myself is like, you're like, oh, I don't have anybody to invite to. I don't have anybody to talk to about this. That's what social media is for, is to find new people, right? So once you go through your warm market, you're going to have to start inviting to your cold market and inviting strangers to something. And I've actually have made some good connections with random moms I've met on Instagram just by sharing things. Like the other day, I put up that post about me starting anxiety medication, and people came out of the woodworks and sending me messages and telling me, like, sharing their story and commending me on, being vulnerable. So I listened to a podcast by Holly Hillier, and she talks about growing your audience without being like on social media, which you feel like that's like negating, right? So just think to yourself, um, do you tell yourself you don't have time to create content? Raise your hand. Anybody? How about I don't have time to record reels or come up with captions or come up with anything to post or know what to post? I know that that's me sometimes, except for this week because I have all these posts already planned for me and it makes me super happy about it. But anyways, you probably also are saying to yourself, I don't have time for this. I have a family. I have to work full time. I have to do the laundry. Like, you have all the excuses in the world not to, be present on your social media. But people aren't going to know what this business is about or what your challenge groups are about unless you're talking about it and sharing, what works for you. You don't have to just be like, hey, join my group. How about just sharing your journey? That's what this is about, is sharing your journey. That's what Body is about, is showing other people's journeys. And then it's hard when we have to say, like, we don't have time to run a business when we have all those other things that we need to take care of, right? So having a content creation plan is what's going to make this easy for you, right? So she talks about three different things. It is the finding your micro niche, having like a hook. So this is what got me is like, Abby, myself, Brittany, I don't know who else is in that diamond group, but they talk about having a hook. And I was confused by that. And that is something that's going to draw your person, your niche, your person to you, right? So they're going to see that on social media, like, oh, I need that. Oh, like that. Abby showed like her pictures and she had a good hook there that people were like, ooh, I need to know what she's doing, right? Bub, I can't do this right now, okay? You got to go listen to Daddy. I'll be in after, okay? But the longer you do this, the longer I'm going to be on my call. So she talked about if we're just scrolling endlessly to find content, like to make a reel. I know that's me. Like, I'll scroll reels for like an hour to find a song. I was doing it this morning. I'm like, why can't I'll just pick a random song. But she does talk about using trending audio because then more people, like, it's going to pop up onto people's feeds because that's the trending audio for the week. And I guess that it like is bi-weekly. So that's interesting to me. So I'm always like, how do you get the audio to be trending? But it happens. Hold on. When I'm done, okay? Please go with Daddy. So sorry. I told him that tonight it was my night. Of course, he has to be like this tonight. So first thing we need to know, just let him. It's fine. He can just sit in my lap. I don't care. First thing we need to do is find our micro niche. So we've talked about this numerous times about breaking down, not just saying like the working mom, the stay-at-home mom, right? You have to micro niche that down. And this is where you are providing the value. And once you have this piece, then you can ask yourself, what are your content pillars? So that could be, I know like Becky is like huge with obviously like she does her own business, but it incorporates it into body,
Why are
which
you
is huge
talking
about
to-
mindset. She talks about growth day a lot. She talks about, you know, it's mental health. That I would say is one of her pillars. Um, I'm talking to the ladies, bub. And then you want to dive into your content and then your data. So she is like going hardcore into your data. This is what got a little bit confusing for me because I don't really know how Instagram works and how I need you to be quiet. I'm talking to everybody, okay? Is like you have to go into Instagram and go into like your settings and seeing like your views, your shares, your highlight, like the insights, like things like that to see what is catching people's eye and what is being utilized as valuable content, right? So I'm not going to explain that to you because she didn't really explain it and I'm not an expert at that, but that's what she was saying. It was that every Sunday you're going to sit down with Instagram and you're going to look through your content for the week and see what was pulling people in. And then that's where you're going to create your creation or your content plan. And then that's where you're going to figure out what your pillars of content are. And I was like, man, I don't know if I could say I have 4 because she kept saying that there's like, you got to have like 4. And I'm like, I know I have at least 2. But so you look at your reaching, you look who it's been reached out to and the engagement and the data is driving towards your biggest growth. That data will give you your time back because the data is going to tell you exactly what to create versus just scrolling, right? So this is supposed to kind of just make this so much easier for us. Data is helping you create your content pillars, and the pillars are pieces of content, 4 to 5 different things that you rinse and repeat. So that's important. So we don't just have to like post random things. Like I know Abby, you do this a lot. Like you reshare posts, and they say to do that because it like you get a new audience on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because I remember I saw you do it once, and I was like, oh, I feel like I've already read this post, and I was like, but that's smart to do because then you're getting new eyes on it. So she says you rinse and repeat. So you need to be creating at least one piece of content a day. If you're not creating one piece of content a day, it's not going to work for you. This won't work at all. Okay. So you have to step outside that comfort zone. Right now, Abby, Becky, and I are creating 2 pieces of content every single day for this whole week, which is a lot for me to post twice on social media, but I'm getting used to it. And I'm already seeing more eyes, more likes, more engagement on my posts because of this. So it's very interesting. I'm talking to the ladies. So it's not that. Yes, I'm talking to Becky. It's not the algorithm that's mad at you. It's that you won't have enough data to use to pivot what you were doing to understand what your ideal client wants, right? So if you're not posting at all, you're not going to have any data to use and to be able to create any content or a plan. So like I said, using Sundays to go back and look at your content and see where your ideal client liked. Was it the hook? Was it the reel? Was it the image? Was it the content or the caption? Then dissect why it did so well and see if you can reuse something that you had used before. And then rinse and repeat your pillar. And you'll have a hook, and then you can just record a 4 to second like reel. Like Abby's really good about this. She like records like random things she's doing in the day and like puts a caption to it, and it like she just pulls it back into something, and I'm just like, that's brilliant. And I started doing like random things. It's just they're all muted.
What are muted?
It means they can't talk. Like you should mute. Sorry. This is mom life. It's fine. I'm totally fine with it. So then every single week you can use that trending audio. So you'll have a pillar, you'll have your pillars, your trending audio, and your hook. So you could do like hook, trending audio, pillars. Doesn't have to be in any order, but sorry, I'm like scrolling through because some of this stuff is repeated. If you do not do the work up front, like she talks about doing on a Sunday, you're going to be on social media scrolling, right? So if you do the work up front, you will no longer need to scroll on social media to find content, and you no longer have to copy someone else's content Because if you spend less time looking on social media and more time letting your own data drive you, that's when everything's going to change. If you want to come across as an expert, then you need to create content that's 100% you and using your voice. So a lot of times, like, you guys can just use your voice on a reel. I have done that a few times and I've gotten a ton of views, and I'm like, that's surprising. Like, that's my own voice, and people are listening and watching that, and clearly it has some value for them. So again, she talks about the hook, the audio, the 4 pillars. Okay, don't do that, bub. Please don't touch that. So the hook, the audio. Sorry, he moved my thing, so now I lost my place. The hook, audio, and 4 pillars that you define by your micro niche. Because you are rinsing and repeating these 4 pieces of content. A lot of your content will be similar, but you're going to just keep rinsing and repeating, because that's why people are showing up and following you and, listening to what you have to say. On your own captions will become your own template. If you overcome, yes, honey. Okay, please stop touching that. I need you to put your ears on and listen, please. This is the most stressful call. It's fine. I'm fine. If you ever,
You're doing great.
If you overcomplicate social media and think that social media takes, my friend Megan, no, and think that social media takes up too much time, I bet it's because we're just scrolling social media too much and we're comparing ourselves. That's the other thing. Bob, please stop. It was right here. I know for myself is comparison literally robs me every single day, because I'm constantly seeing what other people, and it's even like girls on our team, like Becky and Abby, create really good content. I'm like, man, how do they come up with those words? Like, I had a conversation with Becky today, and she was like, I say it's Google Bard, it's Gemini now. And I did what she told me to do, and I created a post and I posted it tonight, and I was like, wow, that was great. And I mean, I used like my words, but I put it into the Gemini thing on Google, and it created a post, but in Brendan got hurt. It posted in Brendan Bouchard's like voice. And I didn't know you could do that. Like, you can type in whatever. Like, I wonder if it would work if you're like Autumn Calabrese. Like, would it come up with like how she talks? I don't know.
I tried Julie Boris before, and it said it didn't have enough data on her, so it has to be like
so
a big
good
person that they have like data on.
I bet you could do Sean T though. Maybe that would be a good one. We'll have to try that one. I don't know what she's doing. So instead of sitting in our zone of,
there's your boy.
That's Bellamy.
Why does he have no shirt?
I don't know why he doesn't have a shirt on.
He's naked.
No, he's not. So it doesn't have to be perfect. So take that. It's probably hot there. They live in Florida. It's hot here. It's 75 in our house. I'm sweating. Yeah, it's hot. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be this. It can be messy. It can be chaotic, because that's what life is. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the right perfect words, but showing up and providing those value to those people, that's what the data is going to do for you. And that's what's going to be how you're driven, right? I'm almost done, guys. Thank you for bearing with this. Instagram is your best free top of funnel tool for your business growth. Please stop talking.
I'm gonna talk to her.
I'm not talking. I'm talking to Maul. Please, can you just stop, please?
That's how I can know.
For business growth, when you use it correctly, your content must be bringing in the right people. So if the content creation feels like it's taking too long, do a time audit. So if you're like spending an hour on creating a post, you need to cut that in half. You need to cut that in half even, because if you're spending too much time on it, then you got to move on. Spend 1 week writing down what you're spending your time on. So I thought this was interesting. She does this, is like, she'll be like on Sunday, like, it's like what you spend your time on in a day. A week is a long time. So you could like get up and you could like, oh, I'm scrolling social media for 5 minutes before getting out of bed. That's a waste of time, right? You could be talking on your story those 5 minutes, or creating content for your group, or inviting 5 people. You know what I mean? So spend 1 week writing down what you're spending your time on. Are you mindlessly scrolling? And then write down each night 3 things you need to spend time doing first thing in the morning. So this can be your personal development, this can be your affirmations, this could be your workout. Like 3 things that it is a non-negotiable that you need to do, like I don't know, like the hardest tasks. I think that those are the things we like to get out of the way, right? Something that we're not going to want to do later on. And then time audit yourself. When you sit down to create your content, give yourself 30 minutes. Set a timer. Give yourself those 30 minutes and see what you do in those first few minutes. Because if it's you're opening your phone and you're scrolling in those first 30 minutes, that's not productive time.
Mommy, stop. You see,
I know. You control your time and you need to be cognizant of where you're spending your time on social media and the actions that you're taking. So set up a system to give you the opportunity to have the most amount of success possible. So this could be a monthly content plan with your 4 rotating pillars, hooks, and trending audio. Schedule your content. So I've been scheduling my content this week. Lifesaver. I'm so please stop.
that makes me sound.
I'm used to scheduling my content in my groups, but never my posts. Except for tonight, I tried to schedule a post 15 minutes before the time that I needed to be scheduled, and it wouldn't work. It like kept pushing it back. So that was interesting, but super nice. If you come up with a post and you don't want to post it until tomorrow, you can schedule it. I will do bedtime if you please stop talking. You can schedule your content. Like I've been scheduling all week, which is nice. Just takes like the brain work out of it on the day. Please stop talking or there's going to be a huge consequence. So this could be a monthly content plan for your rotating pillars, hooks, and trending audio. Schedule your content and you control your time on your app, and creating content only takes as long as you let it. So you must have a plan to make it possible. Okay, I'm done.
What about more?
Sorry, that was a lot and it was very distracting. But what the biggest thing takeaway, I need you to get down right now. Go read a book right now. I'll be in a minute. Abby, can you just talk for a minute so I can deal with him?
Yes, you did awesome. And I think everyone can relate to children. So do not feel bad at all. So I think at least my biggest takeaway is, one, you want to make sure you're getting content out there because people don't know what you're doing if you aren't showing them. Like, I know it seems scary and it seems hard, but if you're not really putting yourself out there, you could be doing amazing things and you're like just keeping it to yourself. And that's not our job. So I really think just at least 1 post a day. You don't have to do 2 because it is a bit crazy like we've been doing this week. I haven't even done my second one, but I am going to do it. And sharing on your stories, like some of the examples of things that we've been sharing this week on our stories that are in this push group, people want to see what's working for you. So your health and fitness journey, your like maybe your morning routine. Do you have a gratitude journal, a devotional? What are you pouring into? And then it's like, okay, what are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing? What is your like normal life? Share some of that because people are very addicted to like just seeing people's every day. It has to have, and it doesn't have to have any purpose. And then the third thing is providing value to them. So if you know, like your people are like, for example, I'm sharing a lot of like mom things that are related to, well, the one was breastfeeding. The other is like basically 202, like whatever season of life you're in, ask questions, get feedback, share your favorite products, share hobbies you have, like let them get to know you as a person as you trickle in like your health and fitness stuff and just like your true purpose of your business. And I think that's huge. And you just have to get it out there or they don't know you're doing it. So if you're posting, awesome. And then I think the other big takeaway from this is don't spend a ton of time on it to make it perfect. Like, I'm going to have to go to bed after this. And I'm like, You have 5 minutes, get your post out, get it done, and move on. There's a lot of tools out there to help. When you're scrolling audio, I always look for one with like the up arrow next to it on Instagram. And I try to find one that has like under 10,000 shares. I think that's the number. That's at least the number I look at. And that's supposed to be trending because you don't get lost in the mix. If there's like 50K shared, you're probably going to get lost in the mix. And like Kareen said, I honestly just take videos throughout the day and then I just plug and play and then I add words to it. And I don't have to act anything out. I don't have to like use a timer. I just plug in my normal life. And it's been really helpful to be quick and just have that like punchline to get people's attention. And that's what works for me, but other things work for other people. So just find what feels right to you and be consistent with it. And you can switch it up as you need to. And yes. And I was reading Kareen's comment, but honestly, guys, just post. Even if it's scary, even if it's not perfect, just do it. And you'll be surprised how many people really do like connect with what you say.
The other thing is like, if you, this is what I do at least. I have, we all have our notes page in our phone, right? So anytime I can think of something that might be valuable, I write it down. Like, what the biggest one is? What the trainers say in our workouts? Like Autumn, literally the entire time she's spitting out stuff, like I have to pause and like go back because I'm like, I got to write this down. Cause this is like this morning, I was talking about how failure isn't built overnight and neither is success. And I was like, ooh, that's a bomb. Okay. I like that because it's true. And like small wins, like just because you aren't going ham every single day or like aren't 100% like on your nutrition, that doesn't mean you're not making healthy steps. Like in Megan's group today, I think it might be a coworker, she posted a picture of like sandals and her sneakers and she was like going on a walk during lunch. And I was like, that's a small win, but that's huge. Like that might seem little to her, but that's a huge deal. Like those are small, tangible steps to a bigger picture. So just make sure if you guys can think of anything, just post it. Like be vulnerable. Like I literally told the entire social media that I'm on anxiety medicine and I'm proud of it. And I'm saying that like it's okay and and you're not alone. So you don't always have to be vulnerable, but it's also like who knows who else is going through this and might need somebody like you for support. So if you get an idea, write it down on your notes page and then start creating that content. And if you want, you can like on a Sunday, just write through Monday through Friday, like what you're going to create. Like it doesn't have to all be body. Like it can be like your family. Like I make funny reels with the kids on the weekends and I use those like for Tuesday, Thursdays. Friday is always some sort of like motivational going into the weekend. And then Saturdays and Sundays, Sunday's a recipe. So like you can create your content like that for the week so that it kind of sets yourself up for the week. So you're not like scrambling to figure it out. But like I said, like you can literally pull a quote, put it over a reel, and then make a caption about it. It doesn't have to be hard. So like just take that hard out and then you have us to bounce ideas off of. So share it with us before you post it maybe and be like, does this sound silly? Does this sound okay? We'll give you feedback and it'll be good for both of us. So I don't know. I thought this was a good listen. You guys can go back and listen to it. It's on Holly Hillier's 7 Strong, I think it's called. She knows what she's talking about. She's changed so much stuff in her business and it is interesting. She's like, I like her voice, so it's easy to listen to her too. So
And I know you talked about the 4 pillars, and I don't think so. The 4 pillars is like the categories you're posting about, like your parts of life. But another thing to think of, like within your pillars, is not every post has to have a call to action. And we're learning that in our push group right now. It's like some could just be inspiration, some can just be like your story without a punchline at the bottom to be like, join me. Some should be very, very clear that they can join you. And I think that's key because people don't want to read your stuff all the time. And at the bottom it says, and you can join me, and you can join me, and you can join me. And it's like, and you can stop posting that. Like, I think people want just some of you being human too, because I think I went through a phase where, and this was from Holly, and she's really niche down and always shares recipes. So she'd be like, drop recipe for my free guide. And I'd be like, drop habit for my free habit guide. And I almost like annoyed myself. And that's when I knew I needed to switch. And I still talk about habits. I still talk about literally the same thing in every single post is my main like tagline. And I switched a little bit every post to connect to someone. And that's what works for me. But think of those 4 pillars. Who is the person you're talking to? And just be you. You can't mess it up. And I think that's the coolest thing, because we overthink it, and you're going to find your people if you just use your own voice. And I felt like I forced it for so long in this business where I sounded just like not how I would talk. So try to think through, like, how would I talk to someone about this if I was talking to them like at the coffee shop or whatever, because I think you're going to feel better about posting it then versus like super structured. And I know with AI, you can make it literally start sounding like your voice, which is insane. They're going to be like, talk like Becky. And I'm going to add that to mine.
Yes. And also, just like a tangent off of that for a split second. So this weekend I went to a seminar with Tony Robbins and his team, and they were marketing their mastermind website, which Brendan Burchard actually like started Growth Day off of his mastermind. So like it has spun from there. And they were talking about their AI. And in Growth Day, Brendan actually has Brendan AI that you can literally ask Brendan Burchard like a question or ask him to create a course for you. And like his brain will specifically, and like his brain, Trent Shelton, Ed Milet, all of the speakers in there will give you the exact answer. So it's different than like Chat GPT and Google Bard, because that's pulling from the internet, where this is actually specific tool that was created with these masterminds of all of their content, all of their teachings and courses, and giving you the answers. So with that, like, we have something so niche down to provide people that when I went to this, I was like, oh my gosh, like we have that. And they were, of course, selling this course for like $400 and like access to their mastermind. And we have it so cheap. So, side note. And then the other piece with the posts, something that really shifted for me one time, and I don't remember where I saw it at, but is if you, because we use social media a lot for our personals, and that's what Kareen was talking about, like using less of it as like scrolling and personal and being more intentional, but we do it. And so if you go to like reshare a post that has like cute saying on it or something, can you screenshot it, take those words, put those words on top of your post? Yesterday, for instance, Petra Kohlberg was saying she shared something awesome. And instead of me resharing her reel, I went on my stories and said, my mindset coach just said this to me, just like Kareen was talking about like the trainers, but use it social media to your advantage. So if you see something, don't just do the like easy reshare this whole post that people can go to and find the thing. Make it your own. Take the quote, write on your stories, or do something along that line. And that's helped me feel like I'm pouring more value into somebody rather than saying like, hey, look, the value's over there. And that's been a big shift for me.
I think when we were talking about finding the niche, I feel like I'm struggling because I could do the whole mom thing, right? And post with my little girl, which people love. But like I'm also reaching like teachers, older, I don't want to say older people, but you know what I mean? Grandparents, things like that. I'm even reaching men and stuff. So like I'm having like trouble, like which area do I want to focus on? Like I'm almost more so wanting to find people that just want a change, a healthy change. So like I think I'm struggling a little bit on where I want to go with that.
So something that helps me, oh, sorry, Becky, is making sure like maybe you have this moment in your life, like this old you, where you're like, this is my turning point, this is my changing point, and you can pretend like you're talking to that person, and maybe that's your target audience, and maybe it's postpartum, or it can shift along the way. So maybe it was even before you had kids, and you're like, I was this athlete, and then I started working, and then I lost all my like health and fitness stuff, like work took over, and I knew I needed to change. Or I had a child, and then I knew I needed to change. Like I always try to talk to that either old me or that current me who I think could relate to my story. And it looks different. It doesn't have to be like moms that are 30 years old with a toddler. It can be just like someone that can relate to any part of your story. Um,
I think when you shared, like, you inspired me the other day because you talked about like your ACL surgery, and I was like, oh, I need to talk more about that because people probably don't know. I've had both my ACLs reconstructive. I've had 4 knee surgeries in my life, which you would never know by watching me in my workout videos, right? Because I feel like that's something that people use as like an excuse, which I understand as an athletic trainer that it could be an excuse, but it shouldn't be because you have to think about moving your body and getting back mobility in your body. So, Megan, you could use like, yes, you're a mom, but you also have like had injuries and you played sports like your entire life, and kind of hit that too. But yeah, it is hard because you have a lot of people interested and it's a very wide range, but it's not a bad thing. And I think eventually, like, I think you're definitely in your warm market right now because these are all people that you know. So eventually, like, you're going to have to niche it down into people to find randomly once you are done going through that warm market, which I don't know when that's going to happen because you've been on fire. So,
Yeah, those are all great advice. Also, another thing that I was thinking of too was I'm going to be taking on a new leadership role at work too. So like I'm stepping up in my career, so I could use like, you know, leadership roles or just a busy life in general, right? And I can maybe reach to people that have a busy life that have all these things going on, yet I make time for this and work out. So now that I'm talking about it, I'm brainstorming. So thank you.
and one last thing with that is I think if you are posting like consistently for longer, like getting into your groove for longer, and I don't know, I haven't fully looked at like how long you've been posting, but I think if you post in your 4 pillars, it's gonna like weed out those randoms as well as you get into your cold market. Awesome. Does anyone else have any like questions or comments or feedback or anything? I think it's something to think about, and like Megan just shared, like it does sometimes help just to brainstorm out loud or share thoughts and see like from an outsider's perspective that knows kind of about your life, like how what ideas they have basically. And we're always here to support you for that. And I think that's what this is all about. And I know it can all be so scary and new and all the things, but it's definitely worth it. Um, you'll find your flow, you'll find your voice and your confidence, and it all comes with everything we offer. Um, while I have you guys, quickly, I know we like to keep it at 30 minutes, but Kayla is one of our newer partners, and she's on a call. Do you want so I went to high school with her, which is kind of crazy.
You did?
Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm
Um,
excited to be here.
feel free. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Whatever
Sure.
comes to heart.
Sure. My name is Kayla. I have a 7-year-old son, if you would like to see him, because he wants to say hello.
No, I
No,
don't.
he doesn't. Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Hi.
And my little puppy who's sleeping now. Um, I live in New Jersey, and I am a full-time mom and a full-time
Busy mom.
manager.
Busy.
That is, I have no time, I feel like, but I really am excited to make time for this new journey. And I've been really working. I've been working with Abby for like, I feel like 3 years or like 2.5 or something. And really this year, and the end of last year, I've really gotten the confidence and the energy and my heart straight and my mind straight to be able to get my physical, uh, you know, energy and everything, just in the right state of mind. And I'm looking forward to just keep going with this journey with all of you,
And getting a new job.
and maybe getting a new job.
Yeah, I said that.
Thanks for sharing all that. Yes. So it's crazy. You've had such a great transformation so far, and I'm excited for you to start sharing it with people. What part of Jersey are you from? Becky was asking.
Oh, I am in Pennington, New Jersey. So
So
near.
north for me. I'm from South Jersey, like right outside of Philly. I'm currently living in Florida, but all my family's in New Jersey.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not far from Philly. 45 minutes maybe. So, yeah. People think I'm Pennsylvania, and I'm like, I am.
Right? Yeah. That's more of my like city and
Hmm.
like space than any place I've lived and identify with.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got to meet some of us, and we're just here to support you. So
Thank
I
you.
hope this was helpful, and you can always ask whatever questions you have. It's a very welcoming group. As you can tell, we all have craziness going on.
I love the morning chats. I feel like it gets us going.
Oh, yes. Awesome. We have been, yes, we need to keep that going because the energy, I think, has been really strong in a lot of our groups. So we can definitely keep that going. And that is all of you guys participating, and just we keep showing up. And I think it's going to be awesome. So other than that, I don't have anything specific to say except keep going, taking action. We have our $20 off promo codes for people to get started with the challenge pack. They're giving a free 3-day refresh if you do, I'm sorry, challenge pack, total solution pack, if I confused anyone. You get a free 3-day refresh if you do the Shakeology total solution or the shake, oh my gosh, the Body Essentials total solution, the one with the shakes and the Energize. So lots of things going on. There's always a deal. So if you ever have questions of how like to get people started with the right package, just ask, and we can help you ask the right questions, figure out what would be right for them so they feel like it's exactly what they need. And that's our job. So we're here to support you. This was awesome. Let's all smile for a picture.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I need to shout out Megan because she's gonna hit Emerald on Thursday. I know it hasn't like been official yet, but she hit it in 2 freaking days. That's awesome. Like I'm impressed. I was like, heck yes. This is why I asked you to coach like years ago. And you gave up early on, and now look at you. Like, oh my God. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, unreal. it's possible. That's our first rank. And that is like the first stepping stone in the business, and it's just going to grow from there. So good job. Congrats. And in 20, was it 1 day or 2 days? 1.5. What was it?
It was one day, 24 hours.
And she has like
Insane.
she's got more people ready to join too. I don't know. She needs to lead a call, I think. I don't know.
What has been working for you? Yes, I agree. Awesome. Well, let's all smile quick, and you all can take a picture too if I have a word glare, because I always do. 1, 2, 3. All right, awesome. It was great seeing you all, and I hope you have a good night, and just know we're here for you. See ya.